You know, the Boko Haram insurgency began like a child's plaything in 2002, and today, many years after, we are dealing with a Frankenstein. So banditry, cattle rustling, and kidnapping have all assumed alarming lives of their own, and the whole country, nay, northern parts, are yoking under insurgency's crippling effects. Defense Minister, retired Major General Bashir Magashi, has ordered Nigerian troops to go the full throttle against criminal elements threatening the peace of the country. And Chadian ambassador to Nigeria, Abubakar Saleh, came calling, and the minister broached the possibility of both countries going up against the enemy. But first, let's share with you an exclusive interview with the governor of Borno State, Professor Babagana Zulum, on Boko Haram insurgency. Please sit back and watch.
Security is #1 agenda in my administration, because the cardinal objective of any government is to protect the lives and properties of its citizens. We came here and we witnessed a lot of problems. But let me also, people have to understand what we are saying. Nobody is saying that we are not appreciating what the federal government did, particularly in Borno State. While other states in northwestern states have just seen the insurgency. In our own case, the insurgency was worst between the year 2011 to 2015. Honestly speaking, since General Buhari came in, President came in, we were able to achieve a reasonable degree of stability. But the major problem is that, are we committed to ending the insurgency? No. There's a lot of sabotage in the system. There has been sabotage. Does the Nigerian military have the required equipment to fight the war? That is the one question. The another question is that the officers and soldiers that are on ground, are they receiving the desired motivation for them to take the war into the enclaves of the insurgents? Are they well kitted? Do we have minesweepers? Are you getting what I'm saying? Do we have enough MRAPs, mine resistance? You are getting what? Armored personnel carriers? Do we have adequate technology on ground to fight the insurgents? Right now, nowadays, technology in the 21st century, technology is very important. You can see a soldier risking his life using a metal spatula, taking a metal spatula with his own hand to detect IEDs. Some of them have sacrificed their life. So honestly speaking, they are not well equipped. And what we are trying to say is that we want the federal government and the Mr. President to understand, to tell him the right thing, that they should do something before these issues will be out of hand, rather than playing politics with war. It's not good. I made several statements that we are appreciative. But we are now in our 11th year, the insurgency. There's a lot of sabotage in the system. There's serious corruption in the system. You are getting what I'm saying? Many people, it's a war economy. Many people are benefiting from this war. And then you get what I'm saying? There is favoritism in the system also. And what I'm saying is not only related to the military. It's all encompassing. All the security personnel. It's not only army, including the civilians. Then the commitment. Do they have, even the Nigerian army, do they have the commitment? You saw me last time shouting along the Damboa Road. It's getting to about 1 year. When I shout along the Auno Road, some people told me, "Oh, Professor Zulum, calm down. It's not good for you to have confrontation. The military will be demoralized. But sometimes I shall be provoked. A distance of only 20 kilometers. Between these 20 kilometers, we have a brigade commander and his battalion. We have a CO and his brigade commander and his team. We have a CO and his battalion. Yet, more than 500 people were killed and kidnapped here alone within these 20 kilometers road. What justification do they have in saying that the Nigerian army has control of what is happening in the region? We must say the right thing. They are paying. So, you have given an examination to your student as a lecturer. The student has been failing the exam for 11 years. You need to review either to reset your question paper, or you have to retrain them, or do something. What we are asking for is for the federal government to sit down and holistically review the operation in the theater so that we can go somewhere else. Since I became the governor of Borno State, as a governor, I'm telling you right now, sitting. As I saw me yesterday, I slept about 2:30 and woke up 4:30. I had only 2.5 hours spent. What I did in the night was trying to find out the well-being of the people. Trying to make telephone calls, have some of my computers with me, trying to view some of the places to know whether our people are safe or not. Then one thing is that, how can we end the insurgency? They used to bring attack, we kill them. Yes, military do used to succeed. Recently, I'm aware. But there is a need for us to squarely address the issues, as I've been saying so. We have the insurgents in the shores of the Lake Chad. The Nigerian army has never cleared the shores of the Lake Chad completely. No. The Sambisa has never been cleared, The Mandara Hill have never been cleared. And I don't have this capacity to go there. I'm telling you. Yes, we acknowledge the fact that Mr. President has bought a lot of items. But it will take time for these items to come in. You cannot just go and fight with an empty hand. So what we are saying now is that we are advocating for mercenaries, for them to have a coalition with our army personnel to defeat the insurgents in these three main important enclaves, fending the arrival of our needed equipment. Are you getting what I'm saying? Absolutely. This is something very important. And secondly is that there's nowhere in this whole world one country has defeated, has succeeded in war. You must have to look for coalition. For the reason best known to them, the Nigerian army are not in support of coalition. Nobody is saying that. We are not saying Nigerian Chadians are better than us. We are not saying that they must bring Chadians. But under the Lake Chad Basin Commission, the member states are very important, whether we like it or not. Cameroon, Chad, Niger, and Nigeria. For them to defeat the insurgents, 4 of them has to form a coalition. Chad will never succeed without the support of Nigeria. Cameroon will never succeed without the support of Nigeria. Niger will never succeed without the support of Nigeria. Likewise, Nigerian army will never succeed in defeating the insurgencies without having good collaboration, good rapport with these 3 countries. It's a symbiotic relationship. Thank you.
Okay, then, that's a totally exasperated Governor Zulum of Borno State. Jide, 2 phrases I got from him. Number 1, playing politics with the war.
Yes.
to sabotage in the system. Tara, tara, tara.
Yeah, it's,
I'm sorry.
he said all of that, and he also talked about the need for greater motivation of our troops. He talked about equipment. He's not convinced that we have enough equipment to win the war. He was talking about lack of MRAPs, that is mine resistance and ambush protected vehicles. They are built like armor tanks, but they are very effective because if they drive on top of IEDs, the troops will be protected. You know, the MRAPs were created by the U.S. troops during the Gulf War when they discovered that Iraqi fighters were using IEDs to kill a lot of U.S. troops. They lost so many of their troops, not in open combat, but through the IEDs. So they had to go and make what you call the mine resistance and ambush protected vehicles.
Okay.
So with it, you can drive on top of
like a minesweeper.
IEDs.
Like a minesweeper.
No, it's not a minesweeper. The minesweeper is different.
Okay.
It sweeps the mines away. But the MRAP, you can drive on top of a place where they had planted mines or explosive devices, and the vehicle will not be destroyed to the point that you now lose your troops. So that, and you remember the documentary that I did in Oderemo. There is a Nigerian who actually produces MRAPs.
This thing we are talking about.
Yes, it produces MRAPs because in this kind of warfare, you need those MRAPs. In fact, Chad already notified the Nigerian producer of MRAPs that they want 100 units. But to protect your troops in this kind of combat, because the enemy is not ready to fight you at all times,
conventionally,
eyeball to eyeball. So they would rather use bombs, explosive devices by the roadside and all that. So he is saying that we do not have enough MRAPs, we do not have enough armor personnel carriers, that we do not have the technology to win this war. And he's saying that at this time, we really need to collaborate with the Chadian neighbors and other countries of the,
alone.
Yes, other countries of the Chad Basin. So he's also saying that we have never cleared Sambisa of terrorists. We have never cleared the Mandara Mountains of terrorists. We have never cleared the Lake Chad Basin, our own side of the Lake Chad, because the Lake Chad is the marshy area through where all these countries, Cameroon, Niger, Nigeria,
it's like a
have a border where they meet, so to say. The borders of those countries, that's where it is. So he's saying we have never cleared the area, and it's just the same thing that the Sultan of Sokoto said, that why is it taking us so long to go and dislodge this from the islands of Lake Chad? Because the Albanawi faction of Boko Haram, that is their base. Everyone knows that that is their base. Everyone knows that the Sambisa forest is the base of Shekau. Everyone knows that Shekau's men are hiding on top of the Mandara Mountains. So the point is, when are we going to dislodge them from this area? So he's saying that we have an issue with capacity, and he was talking about the Jakana Auno area along the Maiduguri Damaturu highway. He's saying that it's just a distance of 20 kilometers, but that more than 500 people have been kidnapped in 1 year in that area. That why is it difficult for the army to protect that area, whereas the army says that it has the whole of the northeast under its control? Why are they unable to protect just 20 kilometers? So that's the point that he's making.
Okay. We'll get back to, we'll talk about Gaydam and all that, but BC, let me sound you out. You know, on April 2nd last year, 2020, Governor Idris Deby, in a manner of speaking, took the battle to Boko Haram. And so you would have expected us to play up play up on that intervention. Now, the Minister of Defense is harping on that.
Actually, I think from all that the governor has said this evening, he has really told us the simple truth and facts that we probably knew but did not want to actually accept.
Yeah.
And I also love the fact that he spoke as a professor, in that he said something that if you are a teacher and you set questions for your students for 7 years,
keep failing.
Who keep failing, there should be a problem.
Yeah.
That it is either you reset your question or you retrain your students. That there is definitely a problem. Just like the way people will say that if you keep repeating the same thing and you expect another a different result, then you must be something must be wrong. Now, so I think apart from the fact that, apart from what Jide mentioned, this governor has also told us about issues of capacity, commitment of the army towards the war, about strategy. He has spoken about strategy. And I think, now come to your question, why are we delaying? What is the problem? And why is the army not interested in this coalition? If the coalition is going to help our country in actually fighting the insurgents, why are we foot dragging? Why is the army not interested? We need to probe into that. And I love the fact that he said that you cannot accuse me of demoralizing the army that cannot protect a 20-kilometer. And I spoke, some people told me that I was trying to demoralize them. Then what do you,
so what else?
What else? How else can I actually assess?
It is said, after a man has done his best, there's nothing else to do.
Exactly.
So what do I do now?
What do I do now? So then, what do we do? Why are we still here?
But you see, I talked about April 2nd last year in the thick of the pandemic and the lockdown. When President Idris Deby took the war to them, I expected to build on that mileage.
We couldn't build on it because of these problems that the governor identified. Because it's like you are expecting something from nothing. These are the foundational problems. And except we handle the foundational problems, we cannot even do what other countries are doing. Remember, even this recently, someone that was kidnapped, an American that was kidnapped, is it in the Niger Republic,
They brought him
to Nigeria. That tells you something, that Nigeria is probably a safe haven for these operators. And that is the problem.
It leaves so many things, Jide, to the mind.
Yeah.
Okay, so playing politics with the war, I want to underline that.
Yeah, I won't be surprised if some totally misguided people start calling this governor a whaler, because they are completely disinterested in the truth. These are political contractors. All that they're after is just lies, and more lies.
And money,
yes,
perhaps,
so they can
and more money.
So they can line their pockets, being people without conscience. The governor said some people are playing politics with this. He has his reasons.
And facts.
That's where he is. And frankly, I don't know anything that he said today that I have not said before on this program. Frankly, I do not know any. Because I've always talked about the fact that, look, we need to take the battle to these persons.
Yeah, because it is possible.
Because we are too defensive.
She just talked about the rescue of the American.
The Americans battle to the bandits where they were. They use technology. The governor talked about technology. Because technology will help you pinpoint even the location of the enemy.
Yeah.
You know?
And you can see them.
Yes. So I've always said these things. But when you say the truth, they will call you names, they will say all kinds of things. And here is a governor watching his people die. And you expect him to simply keep quiet and be politically correct?
Oh, yeah.
No, not everyone.
At a critical time like
not
this.
Not everyone can be. He said it that, look, I would rather die fighting for the interests of my people than die a coward. The governor made that clear.
Or in a manner of speaking, playing to the gallery.
No, not all of us are wired to play to the gallery. Not all of us.
Did you consider the other leg, sabotage in the system? That's even more.
I'm going there.
Yeah.
I'm going there. There is sabotage. No doubt, even the army had admitted in the past that there is sabotage. How does Boko Haram manage to know about troops movements?
Yeah.
They go and wait.
And I hear when you go in through here,
let me explain to you that in the last few months, we have lost more soldiers through ambushes than open combat.
Yeah.
How does that happen? How do they get to know that, oh, these guys, they are moving, and somebody is told, that person waits for them, and they ambush our troops?
Oh, boy.
So you cannot, and the army had made arrests in the past, suspecting that, okay, some people decided to rat on their officers and men. So no one can deny that there isn't sabotage in the system. All that we can ask for is that these saboteurs are identified and justice served on them, because they are causing the rest of the people to suffer.
Oh, yeah.
This is a war that by now should have been won.
Suffer avoidably.
And
avoidably.
The truth is, you talked about the president of Chad taking the battle to Boko Haram in the islands of Lake Chad, their own part of the islands of Lake Chad. Boko Haram killed 90 Chadian troops on Chadian soil. It was the single biggest carnage.
Yeah.
On Chadian soil.
Yeah.
The president was embarrassed, and he decided to lead the battle.
Because
in that battle, they still lost 52 more soldiers, but they succeeded in pushing Boko Haram out of their territory. And he said, look, and he came into Nigeria and said, see, we will wait here until our troops come to retake that part of the country
where we can pull back.
Yes. We all expected that, okay, we will build on that that momentum.
We have kept Benedict in Port Harcourt waiting. Ben, good evening to you. Welcome.
Good evening, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening.
Yeah.
Please, all protocols observed. This war about insurgency, about Boko Haram, to be very specific, it is all political. If you like, let us waste all our saliva from here to tomorrow. It is all political. Look, there are many questions to be asked. What type of training the president of Chad, President Deby, has gone to that Buratai has never attended? That he would attend that type of training, and the federal government did not grant it. We are just wasting our saliva until when we get to that crossroad before Boko Haram, against Boko Haram we end. The country is in danger. The country is in danger. The presidency and the people fighting this insurgency, they are all playing politics.
Okay. Okay. So nobody can accuse Nigerian soldiers of playing catch up, because talk about training, our boys have been there. Jide, we at a time like this, you appear helpless, but at the Hangout, what we are armed with would be facts and so on, and nothing else.
Yes.
So none of us, I don't need to play politics, neither does she. No, so the facts are glaring.
Facts are the tools of our trade.
Playing politics with the war and sabotaging the system. I don't know how you break it down.
The truth is, we have talked at length about sabotage. We have talked about strategy. We have talked about the need to move from a defensive force to an attack-minded fighting group. Since 2018, I've been talking about the fact that we are defensive. And I remember the Chief of Army Staff at the Chief of Army Staff conference, he expressed the desire to turn the army into an offensive force, that we will no longer be defensive.
Mobile one too.
But even the idea of the super camp is defensive in nature. But the truth is, if you set up huge super camps, you still have to get your troops to move around, either for admin reasons or other reasons. And when they move around, Boko Haram will be waiting for ambush. They've killed many of our soldiers through ambushes in that Damboa area. So there's a need for a change of strategy. There's a need for a more offensive approach. We know where these guys are. Let's take the battle to them, exterminate them. We can't, we spend too much time trying to destroy these guys.
Yeah, BC, you know, when we talk like this, you are begging the question. So who gains by the war going this way? Who gains?
The saboteurs, I guess, those sabotaging the system. And I also look at it from this angle that we say we don't have equipment, we don't have this, we don't have that. But we've been budgeting money for the fight of insurgency since how many years? Where is this? Where has the money been going to? Who has actually done any form of, you know, is it auditing, you know, to find out what is used for what? Because we cannot keep on talking about no equipment, no this, no that. Then the saboteurs, are they in the system? Why can't we fish them out?
Relationship between the newly formed Amotekun Security Corps and the Nigerian police comes to mind. The Commissioner of Police for your state, Nwachukwu Enomu, described as false news that the command rejected robbery suspects brought to it by Amotekun operatives. Enomu said the news was an attempt to portray the police as uncooperative towards jointly combating crime with Amotekun. Meanwhile, the Southeast is putting finishing touches to forming a security outfit for the region. And the chairman of the Southeast Governors Forum and governor of Ebonyi State, Dave Imahi, said leaders of the zone have formed a joint security outfit to tackle security challenges. And the governor said the name of the outfit will be announced soon. So, BKO, what do you make of this report? Even though the police, your police command has dismissed such allegations as untrue, saying that the message was to create the public imagery that the police was uncooperative towards jointly combating crime with Amotekun. What do you make of this scenario?
Yes, I've been trying to piece together some facts about what really happened, because in our country, most of the time, when things like this happen, the truth is always the biggest casualty. People hate the truth so much. That's why if you are someone who likes to speak the truth, you will be so intensely hated. You know, some of our people can live with armed robbers, but they can't stand people who speak the truth. You call them names. Oh, he too know. He thinks he knows everything. And people who choose not to pursue knowledge, now speaking ill of people who have made a habit of constantly seeking knowledge. That's the way we are. Frankly, all state police command will be utterly irresponsible to deliberately refuse to work with Amotekun, because there's a lot that they can gain. Mistakes were made in the beginning, which suggested that both the IG and even some of the proponents of Amotekun did not have complete grasp of what it stood for and what it can achieve. But in the fullness of time, some of the fears were calmed, and we could see the IG rolling out some guidelines and all that, and everyone became on the same, began to sing from the same hymn book. And I remember interviewing the IG on this Amotekun thing just before the lockdown last year, and he was not opposed to it because he has always been an apostle of community policing. We can't have state police now, but Amotekun can help us achieve the goal of community policing, which this IG has always wanted. So if people sit somewhere and continue to give Amotekun a bad name in the press, making it look like, oh, these guys are irresponsible, all they want to do is simply to create bedlam all over the place. If they succeed, the blowback will be very bad for all of us. Because what we want is a secure nation, not a nation where bandits are holding us by the jugular. And there has been a lot of activities on the part of Amotekun, not just in Oyo State, but even in Osun and Ondo State. How did the Amotekun idea even crop up in the first place? It was in response to the killing of Baba Fashoranti's daughter. You know? Now, what the police commissioner is saying is, look, there is what is called jurisdictional policing. When an event occurs or crime occurs in a particular area, there is a police unit, a police formation, you know, that ought to be in charge. Something can happen in Olosun, for example, and you go and report at Maroko police station. That's the point that
the police command is trying
the police
to make.
command is the police commissioner was making.
Yeah.
But when you look at what happened to, you can see where the misunderstanding arose, because according to him, they first lodged the Amotekun Corps, first lodged their report at Mokola, and at Mokola they were told to go to Yagonku. That the Yagonku police division would be the best to handle that matter, talking about this AOR. But when they go to Yagonku, they were then told to go to Agodi. So if you were in their shoes, you'll be wondering what's going on. I think that if I were in their shoes, those criminals will first take custody of those, yes, and then send them to where
they ought to be.
The police must realize that Amotekun is helping them to do their work. It is clear to everyone that the police, as currently structured, cannot defeat crime in our country, and that's why there is persistent call for state police and all that. So you have a helper. You can't be tossing the helper around. Because when you are doing that, what was the guarantee that if they went to even Agodi, they will not
turn them back
again? So there is a misunderstanding somewhere, and I'm happy that the governor of Oyo State is, I think, about now addressing the press on this matter. He has to show leadership. He has to show that on this matter is focused and his goal is clear. The rate at which bandits who are foreigners, the rate at which they are abducting people on their farms in Ibarapa, abducting people in Okeogun, and sometimes these useless people will take ransom and still go ahead and kill people. It has to stop. It has to stop. Because no one is safe. And I think the last thing that anyone should expect to see, because when you look at a state like Oyo, the largest state in the southwest, it has access points to all parts of the southwest. So this is a state that you have to look at, you have to give serious attention security-wise, We don't want a situation in which Oyo degenerates into another Zamfara or Katsina, where bandits dictate the terms. Oh, if you don't bring or even
Niger.
Or Niger, where bandits say, if you don't pay us 5 million, you can't live in your homes. Oh, foreigners coming into people's community and telling them that they can only exist on their terms. It has to stop. And I need to say this. We have to forget about the issue of opposition politics in this. When it comes to security, you have to brush silly opposition politics aside. What did the federal government do with Zamfara? When the kidnap of these children happened in Katsina, they had to talk to the governor of Zamfara. He's a PDP governor. But he was the one who helped them. He was the one who knew the bandits. He was the one who negotiated and have those boys released. And when they were released, we sent for the army to provide trucks and guide them all the way to Safe, from Safe to Katsina. That's what happened. It wasn't as if soldiers surrounded them and they were afraid they released the boys. Whoever said that does not fear God. Because that was not what happened.
So, Dr., from what BK has said, clearly, it should be more of a cooperation between the police and security outfits. But, how can we ensure that security outfits such as Amotekun work effectively in synergy with the police so that there won't be any misconception as this in future?
Yeah, like you said, there was some kind of politicization of whatever took place. Because the police, under the federal structure, people see them as being APC or Progressive Congress. And then the government in Oyo State is a People's Democratic Party headed government. So it's like the APC not wanting to help the PDP. And then some statements also went around from some APC chieftains in Oyo State, lambasting the governor, calling on him to take steps, making it look as if it's because he was then not in the country, as if his absence was what caused the trouble. So, like Miko said, it has gone beyond politics now. What we need to do is to sit down and ask ourselves the necessary question. If bandits take over Oyo State, not only is it surrounded by southwest states, it's also the major outlet into the north from the southwest, meaning you could reach Niger State, which is hotbed of kidnapping and ransom payment now. It also takes you to the border through Okeogun, Shaki end, meaning that we also have international border in Oyo State. So politics must go out of it. Otherwise, just like what has happened in Niger and Kaduna State, if these terrorists lay hold of Oyo State, then the southwest is gone. Because it's easy. You can go to the north, you can enter into any of the southwest states from here easily.
Right.
So we need to stop this politics.
Indeed.
Like you said, I don't think that there should have been any doubt about who takes custody of those criminals.
Absolutely.
At that point, somebody should have. It's one police formation.
Right.
There is a command structure.
Right.
Take hold. Then you now say, okay, we're transferring you to the area that has jurisdiction over this matter. First, you take hold.
Absolutely.
Not for you to be pushing the people who have brought them around with the criminals.
But in as much as this is what is going on, the Southeast Governors, BKO, has decided to roll out its own unified security outfit to ensure adequate protection of life and property in their state. What do you make of this move by the Southeast Governors?
It's something that I support wholeheartedly. Because, look, if you've been victim of these people, and I keep saying it that majority of them are not Nigerians. I know what I'm talking about because I've interviewed bandits in Katsina. I've interviewed victims of bandits in down Sabah, the border town between Katsina and Zamfara State. I've seen them, I've seen bandits eye to eye. I've done documentary on them. So I know that a good number of these guys, majority of them are not Nigerians. So they do not even deserve our pity at all. People who will be destroying people's farmlands, raping rural women, kidnapping people for ransom, and sometimes even taking their lives. We have to take extreme measures. If extreme measures will give us the solution, we have to take extreme measures to deal with these guys.
Right.
And that's what people have seen clearly, that the police, they don't have even the strength in number to defeat crime in our country. They also do not have the requisite equipment to make it happen. Now we have used police, we have used the army, we've used the air force, and we can see bandits still running riot in Katsina. Today, bandits are releasing the abductees in Katsina. It's not for any reason, it's because we are in dry season. They just want to be given a breather, so that, because you have cows, so that their cows can have access to water. Dangote at a point made up his mind that he has stopped banditry. He even bought a house in Katsina. What did he do? He went back to the forest. He was the one who killed 18 soldiers the other day in Shimfida. Shimfida is in Jibia local government area. And up to today we have not served justice to him. We know where his camp is. Even me, I know where his camp is. His camp is in Shimfida. I pointed to the road leading to his camp, and I saw his camp in the story that I did. But we have not served justice to him. His camp is still standing. So bandits now think that they own Nigeria, that the rest of us, we cannot do anything. Whatever they want, they should go get away with it. No, we say no to that.
This is not what most Nigerians want to hear, but it is like no turning point on the issue. The federal government says there is no going back on its decisions on removal of subsidy on petrol and electricity. Now, speaking in Abuja, the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, says the policy to borrow unclaimed dividends and unused money in bank accounts put at about 850 billion naira has come to stay. And Ahmed explained that government did not make provisions for petrol and electricity subsidies in the 2021 budget. BKO, what do you make of the federal government's stance not to, bring back fuel subsidy and, of course, petroleum subsidy and, of course, electricity subsidy, I beg your pardon?
There is still petroleum subsidy as we speak.
And you have your facts.
Let no one, except the unreading journalist, the one who is not current, that would think that
there is no subsidy.
There is no subsidy. There is still subsidy at this time, and even the Minister of State for Petrol confirmed that there is still subsidy. I attended an event, I heard him say it. So it's not like, oh, Nigeria has come again, or maybe fiction. No, he said it. I listened, and I heard him say it. And even if he didn't say it, all the telltale signs are there. If we had removed subsidy, as we have done with diesel, for example, we won't be fixing petroleum prices.
Right.
PPPRA still fixes petroleum prices as it is today. We still have Petroleum Equalization Fund, which was designed to ensure that across the country we sell petrol at the same price. So you get subsidized to take petrol all the way to Borno State, which is probably the farthest part of our country, or even Sokoto on the other side. So the Petroleum Equalization Fund ensures that the bridging that we do is effective and everyone can sell at the same price across the country. That's what a subsidy regime ensures. The moment we remove subsidy, you have no business, it is market forces that will determine the price. You have no business fixing prices. We don't fix prices of diesel. We don't. But petrol we still fix. So it may, what I can deduce from this is that there is a determination to ultimately remove petroleum subsidy. But as at today, we have not removed petroleum subsidy. That is a fact, as confirmed by the Petroleum Resources Minister of State. And he's hearing me. I'm not lying against him. He confirmed it because the signs are there. He cannot even lie about it. The telltale signs are there. Why are those government agencies still operating if we are in the we are not in a subsidy regime? So this is the thing. And the fact that there's no provision for subsidy in the budget does not mean that we cannot operate subsidy. There were years when we did not provide the
budget.
We did not appropriate money for subsidy, and we still subsidized. How was NNPC doing it? NNPC was doing it through crude oil sales. So this is a fact, because our people deserve to know the truth. You just net off the subsidy from the crude oil sales that you make, so that we have not put it in the budget. Does not mean that we cannot sustain a subsidy regime.
Petrol.
I've always said, look, let the subsidy go. Ultimately, because subsidy has encouraged a lot of corruption. You know, there are still people, and it's not an NPC alone that is bringing in product. Let me also say that there are still a few individuals bringing in the products. So it's not an NPC alone as we speak. Okay. Now, what I want to see is a situation in which we will be able to, quantum of money that we spend on subsidy, we will be able to use it to develop infrastructure, because we simply can't find money. Everything we want to do, we need money, we're going running from pillar to post to find money. Whereas there's a lot of money that we are spending on subsidizing the product, that a lot of our neighbors, they are not Nigerians, but they enjoy buying petrol heavily subsidized by us. Yes, we closed the borders, but it didn't work 100%. The closure of the borders is not succeed 100%. We're now in a situation in which even security forces, you know, join smugglers, help smugglers to bring in rice, especially in northern Nigeria. You know? So, subsidy, fine, for petroleum product, it can go. The only thing that I want to add in the case of electricity is, yes, I have also preached that we should have cost-reflective tariff for electricity. But at this point, shouldn't the discos be mandated to provide meters for their customers? What we are doing now, estimated billing. The estimated billing regime is still on. So whenever you increase tariff, you probably also increase estimated billing. That is fraudulent. That's just cheating Nigerians. Provide the meter. I was reading that they are going to, discos are going to bridge the meter gap over a period of I think 5 years or so.
Extended to 10 now.
So during that period, what happens? Can't the government even allow other people to bring in these meters?
Because remove
the duty on it, let people bring in meters. Let people see what they are paying for. Up to today, it's still estimated billing that I'm subjected to. Despite all the efforts that I've made. And many Nigerians are groaning. There's not so much money for people, but we are treating them in this manner. You can increase tariff, but give people meter so that they will see that they are being billed for what they use. I think it was the Speaker of the House of Reps who was hungry the other day and sponsored a bill against estimated billing. In spite of that, in our country, people are still being subject, more than 1 year after, still subjected to estimated billing. And our regulators, our regulatory agencies are so weak that they give instruction, but these people, they don't obey. You say, oh, crash the cost of data. They will not obey. Oh, don't increase electricity tariff until you are told to do so. They will not listen. So who will now help the common man?
Perhaps, Dr. I should ask you that question. Who will now help the common man? Because the majority of Nigerians are still under estimated billing. As of today, I know of someone who told me that he has a bill, a monthly payment of 75,000 naira for a self-apartment. That
person must be using power for 24 hours. I don't enjoy power for 24 hours. The reality is that those who are making the laws, those who are the enforcers of the laws, they are already compromised in all of this. We've said it here. Check the ownership structure of the discos. Check the ownership structure of the Gencos. That's the generating arm also. You find out that it's all in between. It's the same people who are making the laws. It's the same people who are enforcing. It's either they are direct owners or a cousin, a brother, and then it becomes a family affair. So, and once something is a family affair, like we always do in Nigeria, we settle it within the family. We don't bring it into the public.
We carry each other along.
So we bury it within the family, and that's what is happening, basically, for the power sector. In terms of fuel subsidy, I gave up a long time ago. The stories vary depending on who is saying it. In the same government, the Minister of State for Petroleum, Timi Silva, has told us that till now, there is still subsidy. Even in the years when subsidy was not provided for in the budget, there was a time even the National Assembly was saying, you still must do it. Find a way around the monies you have within the budget and do it. Because at some point, you may get to a situation where people must trek. Because you can't have petrol, which most vehicles use in Nigeria, the cost going up, the spare parts going up, because the naira is crashing against the dollar. So the tire that you bought yesterday for 20,000, don't be shocked if you get there today and it's 30,000. Because the man who is selling to you also must restock. So if he hears that the tire I bought yesterday for 20,000 is now selling for 30,000, we have to get to restock, then he must also sell at 30,000. Otherwise, he won't be able to go to the market. So it's a combination that we are trying to look at. So if you must take away the subsidy, why not? Do it. But the alternatives must be there. Government says we'll provide buses. We shouldn't be talking of 100 buses. In a country of 200 million people. Government says we've spoken with Labour.
They said they will give the buses to Labour.
To Labour.
The Labour people, the only people.
The only people. Even if Labour makes it open to everybody to use, what do you do with 1,000 buses? Even in Lagos, if you put 1,000 buses in Lagos, it's going to get drowned. Because people need to move. So we need to begin to get more serious with this issue, to begin to look at alternatives. Where you can use water, can we look at it? Where we can use the rail, can we begin to work fast at it? Because we keep staying on the same issue year in, year out. And here also, we've said it. If you need to appeal to Nigerians, that see, for this sector this year, we may not be doing much, but we need to focus on rail. So that you do mass transit through the rail, then please go ahead and do it. If you need to focus on water transportation, please do it. But there must be mass movements. There must be, because if you have the opportunity of moving people massively through other means, then you don't have to start explaining to people why petrol is going up. Because all the buses that you are even putting the petrol in, how many people can they take?